Okay. Okay, so the topic which is going on right now, that is oxidation and reduction reaction. So first of all, oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction. Okay. So if we talk about oxidation term, this is can be split in two terms, oxygen and another one is addition. Okay. So what are the properties of oxidation? So the reaction in which addition addition of oxygen as well as removal of hydrogen removal of hydrogen takes place is called oxidation reaction. Okay, the reaction in which addition of oxygen as well as removal of hydrogen takes place is called oxidation reaction. यानी एक ऐसा रिएक्शन जिसमें ऑक्सीजन का एडिशन हो या हाइड्रोजन का रिमूवल हो, उसे हम लोग ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन कहते हैं. ठीक है. अब आप देख सकते हैं नॉर्मली कोई भी ऑक्सीजन का एडिशन अगर आप रिएक्शन देखें तो वो ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन कहलाता है. फॉर एग्जांपल कि when oxygen is added with copper, it forms copper oxide. Okay, and this copper oxide we call it as a copper 2 oxide. So this copper 2 oxide is formed after the addition of oxygen. So here addition of oxygen takes place. Addition of oxygen takes place, and therefore the copper 2 oxide which is formed, that is the oxide of copper. In the same way, there are several examples which we can use in the same way, that when magnesium is added with oxygen, magnesium oxide is formed. When aluminum is added with oxygen, aluminum oxide is formed, and they are so on. Okay, they are so on. In the same way, we can write when aluminum just react with oxygen, it forms aluminum oxide. It is aluminum oxide. In the same way, magnesium when react with magnesium, when magnesium is react with oxygen, it is magnesium oxide. Okay, magnesium oxide. So these all are the examples of oxidation reaction. So here we can see that addition of oxygen, we can easily see that addition of oxygen is the common example of oxidation. Addition of oxygen is the common example of oxidation. Okay, but what about the removal of hydrogen? What about the removal of hydrogen? Removal of hydrogen के बारे में हम क्या कहेंगे? So एक ऐसा भी रिएक्शन हमें यूज करना है जहां पे हाइड्रोजन का रिमूवल हो. So you know very well that when any metal reacts with water, it forms metal oxide plus hydrogen gas. Okay, and this we call copper 2 oxide, and this is the removal of hydrogen. So this reaction is also one of the common example of oxidation reaction where the removal of hydrogen takes place. Removal of hydrogen takes place. Removal of hydrogen takes place. Okay. इज इट क्लियर टू यू ऑल? सभी को समझ में आ रहा है? शिवानी, द्वेषा, आदित्य। ओके, फिर से मैं एक बार आपको क्लियर कर देता हूं। ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन, द रिएक्शन इन विच एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन एज वेल एज रिमूवल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन टेक प्लेस। एक ऐसा रिएक्शन जिसमें ऑक्सीजन का एडिशन भी हो और हाइड्रोजन का रिमूवल भी हो। मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि दोनों एक साथ होगा तभी जाकर वो ऑक्सीडेशन होगा, या दोनों में से कोई एक भी होता है तो भी जाकर ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन उसे हम लोग कह सकते हैं, है ना। द रिएक्शन इन विच the addition of oxygen as well as removal of hydrogen take place not simultaneously but individually, then it will be called as a oxidation reaction, है ना। हम लोग किसी भी मेटल को जब ऑक्सीजन से रिएक्ट करते हैं, सो द मेटल ऑक्साइड विच इज फॉर्म्ड दैट इज द कॉमन एग्जांपल ऑफ ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन. But in the same way, we know very well that when metal is react with water, the metal oxide is formed, and in the same way, hydrogen is removed. And here, the removal of hydrogen, we can see in the definition given it is that removal of hydrogen is called oxidation reaction also. So you have to mention some examples here where the removal of hydrogen take place. आप लोगों को कुछ और भी एग्जांपल्स बताने हैं इन द सेम वे, इसी तरीके से जिसमें रिमूवल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन हो रहा हो. लेट्स ट्राई. Just show some examples where the removal of hydrogen take place. One by one, Aditya, will you try? Trisha, would you like to give some example? Trisha, am I audible to you? मेरी आवाज मिल रही है आप लोग को? ओके. Yes, 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 yes. So when you mean to say when metal reacts with, very good, very good. When metals react with acid, it also produces metal salt plus hydrogen gas. Very good, Trisha, very good. So here the removal of hydrogen, we can see the removal of hydrogen take place. Removal of hydrogen takes place. Okay, and this is one of the common example also about the oxidation reaction. Oxidation reaction. Very good. Any other examples, students? Yes, iron plus water, it gives iron oxide and hydrogen gas will be reduced from the reaction. Okay. Now here in the above reactions, we can see that any metal oxide after react with hydrogen, it removes the oxygen and addition of oxygen take place, and which hydrogen makes water. Means when the removal of hydrogen take place, there may be some situation in which the addition of oxygen also takes place in the same time. Means addition of oxygen as well as removal of hydrogen take place at the same time. Okay, so when this situation happens, commonly we can say that it is an oxidation reaction. Okay, now we are coming to oxidizing agent. Okay, oxidizing agent. So here you can see that when this oxygen is added with metal, it produces metallic oxide. So here oxygen is just behave like an oxidizing agent here. It behaves like an oxidizing agent. Okay, what oxidizing agent means? Oxidizing agent क्या होता है? तो the agent work like what? That execute the reaction between the metals and produce the compound, that execute that work as a miniature between the element or compound to the product. Okay, that behaves like a miniature. So oxidizing agent normally is one of the higher possible of oxidation states because it will gain electrons and be reduced. Okay, means जब आप देखोगे कि जब कोई रिएक्शन हो रहा है जो कि ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन है और वहां पर ये हमने कहा कि ये ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट है, तो ये ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट का जो प्रॉपर्टी होता है वो याद रखना है हमेशा कि ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट की जो प्रॉपर्टी होती है वो हमेशा इलेक्ट्रॉन को गेन करने की होती है। ठीक है, ये इलेक्ट्रॉन गेनर होता है। द सिंपल प्रॉपर्टी ऑफ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट इज दैट इट गेन्स इलेक्ट्रॉन इन द रिएक्शन। ओके, during the reaction it gains electron and that's why it is called as a oxidizing agent. Okay, oxidizing, the another name of oxidizing agent is oxidant. We also say oxidant. It gains electron and it is reaction, a chemical reaction. Suppose this oxygen This oxygen, after reacts with copper, it forms copper 2 oxide. So this is simply an oxidation reaction. But when we talk about here that copper when react with water, so here the oxidizing agent, okay, means the water which oxidized, which is split into the two elements, that it is oxygen as well as hydrogen, where the oxygen is get added and hydrogen is get removed or reduced. So that hydrogen is get reduced. So here in water the oxygen is behave like as a oxidizing agent. The oxygen is behaves like an oxidizing agent that makes possible of oxidation reaction and the reduction of hydrogen take place at the same time. ओके, ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट को ध्यान में रखना है कि वो हमेशा इलेक्ट्रॉन गेनर होता है, जो कि रिएक्शन के समय इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन करेगा, हाइड्रोजन को रिमूव करेगा और खुद उस एलिमेंट के साथ क्या हो जाएगा, ऑक्सीडाइज्ड हो जाएगा। तो कुछ कॉमन एग्जांपल्स हैं, जैसे आप ऑक्सीजन के साथ हम लोग नॉर्मली रिएक्ट कराते हैं। ठीक है, नॉर्मली जो एसिड है, जैसे आपने ऊपर के एग्जांपल में बताया कि H2SO4, वो भी क्या है, एक प्रकार से एक ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट है जिसने इस रिएक्शन को पॉसिबल बनाया, जहां पर H2SO4 स्प्लिट होकर सल्फेट जिंक के साथ में ऐड हो गया, मींस एडिशन ऑफ ऑक्सीजन टेक प्लेस एंड एज वेल एज इन द सेम टाइम द रिमूवल ऑफ हाइड्रोजन टेक प्लेस, जहां पर हाइड्रोजन क्या हुआ, रिड्यूस्ड हो गया, और इस तरह से ये क्या है, ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट है। सो दीज ऑल आर द ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट। ओके, whether it is H2O, whether it is H2SO4, whether it is any metal where the high reactive metal displaces less reactive metal. So it also behaves like an oxidizing agent. Is it clear to you, Trisha? Okay, okay. Where you are in trouble, means at which part you are in trouble? Is it clear to you that yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Simply this reaction is what? This is the addition of oxygen and simply a product is formed, that is the copper 2 oxide, or we call it as a cuprous oxide. Okay. So this is a simple addition reaction, or we call it as a oxidation reaction. But what this reaction is, where the copper plus H2 is formed, where the oxygen is added and hydrogen is removed, in which the addition of oxygen as well as removal of hydrogen take place at the same time. Okay, so this type of the reaction in which the oxidizing agent make possible the addition of oxygen as well as the reduction of hydrogen, this agent is called as an oxidizing agent. In the same way, H2SO4 that make possible of this reaction, that split H2SO4 and where sulfate is get added to zinc and hydrogen is get reduced during the reaction, है ना। तो ये सब आपके ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट हैं, इन सब को हम लोग ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट कहते हैं, जो कि हमेशा इलेक्ट्रॉन गेनर होते हैं। द अनदर नेम ऑफ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट इज ऑक्सीडेंट। द अनदर नेम ऑफ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट इज ऑक्सीडेंट। ओके, जैसे सपोज कल हम लोगों ने एक एग्जांपल देखा था जिसमें हाई रिएक्टिव मेटल जो है लेस रिएक्टिव मेटल को क्या करता है, डिस्प्लेस करता है। ठीक है, सो हमने देखा क्या कि जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल कॉपर है, ठीक है, क्यूपरस ऑक्साइड है, CuO है, सॉरी, and here it is Fe, okay, and when it reacts with it produce Fe2O3 and then copper is get reduced, okay, copper get reduced. So here you can see that the iron get oxidized here and copper get reduced here, okay, iron get oxidized, okay, and copper get reduced. Okay, so here copper oxide behaves like what? It behaves like oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent. It behaves like oxidizing agent where it make possible of reaction between the iron and oxygen and remove reduction of the what? Reduction of the least reactive metal from the compound, that is copper. Okay, and here oxygen is what? Oxygen, you know very well that oxygen have gained, oxygen having the negative charge. Oxygen having the negative charge, you know very well. So when oxygen reacts with iron, so it gains electron. Oxygen means holds negative charge by gaining of electron. So in the same way, the oxidizing agent is also an electron gainer. Okay, oxygen is gaining negative charge by gaining of electrons, and that's why we call it as a oxidizing agent, because it also gains electron. So during the it makes iron oxide and copper get reduced here. Okay, so here CuO means copper oxide behaves like a oxidizing agent. Did you understand? Yes. Means oxidizing agent will make addition of one element and removal of another element. Okay, that is their main task, that is their main work to split itself, in which one element will get oxidized and the another element will get reduced. Is it clear? Yes. So this is oxidizing agent basically. ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट का सिर्फ यही काम होता है कि वो एक कंपाउंड के रूप में भी हो सकता है, एक एलिमेंट के रूप में भी हो सकता है, जो रिएक्शन के दौरान वो खुद क्या करेगा, ऑक्सीडाइज करेगा और दूसरे को रिड्यूस कर देगा अपने रिएक्शन से। ठीक है, वो ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट होता है। एंड ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट इज आल्सो इलेक्ट्रॉन गेनर, बिकॉज ऑक्सीजन का नेगेटिव चार्ज है, सो ये नेगेटिव चार्ज हमेशा पॉजिटिव चार्ज की तरफ गेन करेगा। आयरन का पॉजिटिव चार्ज आप जानते हो, आयरन पॉजिटिव चार्ज होता है, सो हमेशा ये कहां जाएगा, पॉजिटिव चार्ज की तरफ जाएगा, और ये जो कॉपर है ये रिड्यूस हो जाएगा। ठीक है, रिड्यूस हो जाएगा, सो बनेगा जो प्रोडक्ट दैट इज Fe2O3, दैट इज फेरस ऑक्साइड, और ये फेरस ऑक्साइड जो है ये ऑक्सीडाइज ऑफ आयरन भी कहा जाता है। ठीक है, आयरन ऑक्सीडाइज जो हुआ है उसी का ये एक फॉर्म है जिसको हम लोग बोलते हैं फेरस ऑक्साइड। इज इट क्लियर टू यू ऑल? आदित्य, ओके, शिवानी, इज इट क्लियर टू यू? ओके, सो यहां पर हम लोगों ने दो चीज समझा। सबसे पहला हमने समझा क्या कि ऑक्सीडेशन रिएक्शन होता क्या है, साथ ही साथ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट होता क्या है। ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट में एडिशन और रिमूवल जो होता है उसमें उसे कहते क्या है, कि रिड्यूस्ड क्या होता है, ऑक्सीडाइज्ड क्या होता है। अब इसी तरह से जो दूसरा रिएक्शन है वो हम करने जा रहे हैं जिसका नाम है रिडक्शन रिएक्शन। ठीक है, रिडक्शन रिएक्शन भी हम लोग करने जा रहे हैं। So the vice versa of this oxidation reaction is reduction reaction. Okay, may I erase this all matter? Okay, okay, okay. You may note. ओके सो ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट को भी मेंशन कर लेंगे एक जगह डेफिनेशन में. ठीक है, उसको मैं मेंशन कर देता हूँ ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट के बारे में भी. स्टार देखिए कि an oxidizing agent, the another name is oxidant. Okay, that gains electron and get reduced during reaction. Get reduced during reaction. Example, hydrogen, then after acid, then after means ozone means O3, carbonate, and so on. An oxidizing agent that gains electron and get reduced during the chemical reaction is called oxidizing agent. Aditya, why there is so much network disturbance from your side? Aditya, is it okay? What happens? Why your means network is not up to the mark? Am I audible to you, Aditya? I said that why there is so much disturbance from your side? Why your network is not up to the mark? Oh, sorry, sorry, sorry. Okay, I didn't know about that you are at your home. So this is the current lecture which was going on, that was on the topic of oxidation reaction as well as oxidizing agent. And here we have seen that many equations in which the oxidation as well as reduction take place, means oxidation as well as the removal and oxidation of oxygen take place. In the same way, we have done some reactions which the metal reacts with acid as well as when metal reacts with water, the hydrogen get reduced. So these basically is the explanation of oxidation reaction. Now we are going to proceed we are going to start reduction reaction. That what reduction reaction is it clear, Trisha? Have you noted? Okay. Now reduction reaction. So the reaction, we have to just use the vice versa of oxidation reaction. So the reaction in which addition of hydrogen as well as the removal of oxygen takes place is called reduction reaction. That is called reduction reaction. Okay. So here you can see example that when copper oxide just react with hydrogen gas, here copper get reduced and water is formed. So here you can see that from copper to oxide it becomes copper. So here copper get reduced. Copper get reduced. Okay, and the means the removal of hydrogen take place. Is it? The removal of oxygen take place and as well as the addition of hydrogen also take place. Therefore, this is a reduction reaction. Okay. So would you like to give some more examples? Would you like to give some more examples, students? Am I audible to you all? means the reaction in which the addition of hydrogen as well as the removal of oxygen take place, and that is called reduction reaction. That is called reduction reaction. Okay. Here you can see when copper oxide just react with hydrogen, it forms copper plus water. And where the what copper is get reduced from copper oxide, and you can see that copper get reduced during the reaction. And hydrogen, which is simply a hydrogen in the reactant side, now becomes water, which is get oxidized. Okay. Is it clear to you all? So this is the reduction reaction. There are many other examples, students. You can also mention here. Will anybody try to give some examples? Yes. Somebody like to give some? Hello. Yes, yes. Yes, yes, you are audible. Sorry. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Yes. On the basis of this reaction, you can mention many other examples also. That the silver oxide. Okay, basically the silver is more reactive to the nitrate rather than oxygen. Okay, the silver is more reactive to the nitrate. Okay, nitrate, silver nitrate, it is more reactive to nitrate rather than oxygen. So if we mention here nitrate here, and when react with hydrogen, so it will form silver plus HNO3. Okay, so we can mention here NO3 whole 2 plus H2, and when silver nitrogen oxygen in the presence of hydrogen, it get heated, then it forms simply silver, means silver get reduced, and acid that is formed, that is in gaseous form. Okay, and here the silver get reduced, the silver get reduced. Okay, which was first oxidized, or we can say which was first oxidized with the silver nitrate, that is silver nitrate, now become silver, and now it is get silver get reduced. Here you can see that this element get reduced during the reaction, that this element get reduced during the reaction. So not only oxygen, you can mention other compound or other means what reactant also here, that must be the removal as well as addition take place in the same manner. Means the addition of oxygen in the same, in the first example you have seen that copper 2 oxide when reacts with hydrogen, it forms copper plus water. So here the copper oxide get reduced to copper, in the same way silver nitrate get reduced to silver. Okay, so in the same way, if we use some other examples, just like calcium phosphate when reacts with in the presence of heat get reduced in calcium as well as phosphate. So calcium get reduced here. Okay, these are the some means simple examples of reduction reaction only. Okay. Yes. So this is simply a reduction reaction. So as we studied earlier that as oxidation reaction, one oxidizing agent is there. In the same way, in reduction reaction, the reducing agent will behave, will work as a agent that performs this reaction. Okay. So what reducing agent is? So in the same way, when oxidizing agent, we know that it is electron gainer. In the same way, the reducing agent, that is electron loser. Okay, it loses electron. Okay, it loses electron and it is oxidized in the chemical reaction. As we said that the oxidizing agent in the before reaction we have studied that in oxidizing agent the oxidizing agent get reduced in the reaction. So in the same way the reducing agent get oxidized in the reaction. Okay, the reducing agent get oxidized in the chemical reaction. So reducing agent, so it is also called, just like oxidizing agent known as oxidant, reducing agent will called as a reductant. 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 It is also called reductant, which is oxidized, which is oxidized during chemical reaction, during chemical reaction, and it is electron losser. Okay, it loses electron during the reaction, or we can say it oxidized during the chemical reaction. ये जो है जैसे ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट हमने समझा था कि ऑक्सीडाइजिंग एजेंट रिएक्शन के समय जैसे रिड्यूस्ड हो जाता है, ठीक वैसे ही रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट का काम होता है कि वो एक रिडक्टेंट की तरह एक नाम से भी जाना जाता है और साथ ही साथ वो ऑक्सीडाइज्ड करता है दूसरे एलिमेंट को ड्यूरिंग द रिएक्शन। मतलब कि वो खुद जो है ऑक्सीडाइज्ड हो जाता है केमिकल रिएक्शन में और वो इलेक्ट्रॉन लूजर है। जस्ट लाइक कि ऊपर की एग्जांपल में आप देख सकते हो कि यहाँ पर जो है जो हाइड्रोजन है वो एक रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट की तरह बिहेव कर रहा है। ठीक है, रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट की तरह बिहेव कर रहा है जो कि खुद ऑक्सीडाइज्ड हो गया। ठीक है, खुद ऑक्सीडाइज्ड हो गया। हाइड्रोजन गेट ऑक्सीडाइज्ड टू फॉर्म नाइट्रिक एसिड, है ना। ये जो है हाइड्रोजन खुद ऑक्सीडाइज्ड हो गया नाइट्रिक एसिड फॉर्म करने के लिए और ये ड्यूरिंग द रिएक्शन क्या कहलाएगा? रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट कहलाएगा। इट विल बी कॉल्ड एज ए रिड्यूसिंग एजेंट ड्यूरिंग द रिएक्शन। इज इट क्लियर टू यू ऑल? यस। Silver is more reactive to nitrate. Okay. You can, for this, you have to study the little bit about the corrosion. Okay. That is our next topic. Actually, what happens, the silver is, you have seen that the silver ornaments get black in color during the means when it is kept for a long time. Okay, or when it is left for a long time. So you can see that there is a small there is a simple black layer surface which you can see on the surface of silver. Okay, that black coating surface, that is known as a nitrate. So in our atmosphere, oxygen is in abundant form, but rather than oxygen, the silver get react with only that nitrate. So that's why silver is more reactive. Means oxygen is nitrate is more reactive than oxygen to silver only. Okay, means rather than oxygen is more react. Silver will react with nitrate more easier in a manner compared to oxygen. Okay, therefore you have to mention here silver nitrate only, but which react with hydrogen and gives silver plus nitric acid. If you write So yes, yes, continue. Means you want to say that with respect to silver, which are the other compounds which are more reactive to silver rather than nitrate, that you want to say? Actually, actually, what happens? Nitrate, phosphate, carbonate. These all are the compounds. These all are exist in our nature in the gaseous state. Okay. So silver, you know that silver, platinum, gold. These are also known as a noble metals. Okay. These are also known as noble metals. They usually not react if it is left for a long time, but this nitrate means compound which is usually exists in our atmosphere, but basically reacts with silver in more easier manner compared to oxygen and compared to other compound or gas. Okay, so if you are saying that what are the other compounds rather than nitrate, so there are many other compounds like phosphate, nitrate, but that are much heavier than nitrate. Okay, in gaseous state rather than nitrate, phosphate, carbonate and many other compounds that are much heavier than nitrate. So for the silver metal, it is more required to react with the least mass compound so that the reaction could be possible more easier rather than other compounds. Means इन metals के साथ में जो compounds react करते हैं वो reaction जो है easier manner में इसलिए भी होता है क्योंकि इनका जो मास होता है वो काफी, मतलब जो मॉलिक्यूलर मास जिसे हम कहते हैं वो काफी कम होता है कंपेयर टू अदर दूसरे कंपाउंड्स के कंपैरिजन में। ठीक है, इसलिए भी इन लोग का रिएक्शंस काफी इजियर मैनर में हो पाता है। ठीक है। Okay, so you not have to remember this. Does just we use this means this reaction to show you simply that the silver get reduced during the reaction and the nitrate get oxidized with, means hydrogen get oxidized with nitrate and forms HNO3, which we called as a nitric gas. Okay. Okay, so now we are coming to the our next topic, that is our redox reaction. So you mentioned some elements or some compounds for the reducing agent. Okay, that may be carbon monoxide, zinc, lithium, etc. Okay, why we use these metal only? Because these metals are reactive. These metals are more reactive. Hydrogen is also one of the more reactive non-metal. Okay, carbon monoxide get also reduced because its molecular mass is so means weak. Therefore, we have to use those reducing agent that can be reactive, that can be split in a more easier manner. Okay, so these are the reducing agent which we use for the reduction reaction. Okay, so may I erase these all matters? Okay. Okay, now our next topic is redox reaction. Okay, so after taking this much example and this much explanation of oxidation reaction as well as redox reaction, you are much closer to the redox reaction. So here redox reaction. So it is also a combination of two terms. One is reduction, that is red reduction, and OX, that is oxidation. Okay. So the reaction in which the oxidation and reductions take place simultaneously, or you can say that the addition of electron as well as losing of electron take place simultaneously, that is called redox reaction. So the reaction in which addition of oxygen and removal of hydrogen takes place simultaneously, or we can say addition of electrons as well as loss of electron takes place simultaneously are called redox reaction. Okay, are called redox reaction. एक ऐसा रिएक्शन जिसमें ऑक्सीजन का एडिशन और हाइड्रोजन का जो रिमूवल है वो सेम टाइम में हो, ठीक है, और वी कैन से ऑक्सीडेशन एंड रिडक्शन, इसे हम लोग सिर्फ ये भी बोल सकते हैं, ठीक है, कि ऑक्सीडेशन द रिएक्शन इन विच ऑक्सीडेशन एंड रिडक्शन, यानी जिसमें ऑक्सीडेशन और रिडक्शन, आप इसे मेंशन करोगे द रिएक्शन इन विच ऑक्सीडेशन एंड रिडक्शन टेक्स प्लेस simultaneously, or we can say addition of electron as well as loss of electron take places are called redox reaction. ठीक है, जिसमें इलेक्ट्रॉन का लूजनिंग भी हो या जो है गेनिंग भी हो, ऑक्सीडेशन भी हो, रिडक्शन भी हो, इन सभी को हम लोग रिडक्शन रिएक्शन कहते हैं. सपोज when hydrogen sulfide just react with chlorine, it forms hydrochloric acid and sulfur get reduced. When hydrogen sulfide react with chlorine, hydrogen chloride, or we can say hydrochloric acid, is formed as well as sulfur get reduced. Okay, so here the hydrogen sulfide get reduced to hydrochloric acid. Okay, you can see that hydrogen sulfide where the sulfur get reduced to sulfur and chlorine get oxidized here. So you can mention here that hydrogen sulfide is a compound. Hydrogen sulfide, okay, this is hydrochloric acid. Okay, this is sulfur. So hydrogen sulfide, the sulfur get reduced. Okay, the sulfur get reduced, okay, as well as addition of hydrogen, means here reduction take place Okay, and here oxidation take place. Oxidation, oxidation take place. So here the reduction take place in which the hydrogen is added, and here the sulfur get reduced. Okay, in which the removal of oxygen, we can the removal of hydrogen take place. So in the same condition, the oxidation and reduction take place simultaneously, and therefore we call it as a redox reaction. Therefore we will call it as a redox reaction. Is it clear to you, Tuisha, or there any problem? Shivani, is it clear to you? समझ में आ रहा है आपको? Okay, so one more examples we can use here, that you have mentioned in the previous example of oxidation, that when copper oxide reacts with hydrogen, copper get reduced and water is formed. So here from copper oxide, the copper get reduced and therefore it is called as a reduction reaction, as well as the hydrogen get oxidized and therefore it will be called as a oxidation reaction. So I just mentioned here another example, that when copper oxide just react with hydrogen, it is copper get reduced and hydrogen oxide is formed, which we call as water. So copper get reduced, so it is reduction, because removal of oxygen, as well as hydrogen get oxidized. Okay, so it is oxidation. Okay, it is called oxidation. So the oxidation and reductions take place at the same time. एक ऐसा रिएक्शन जिसमें ऑक्सीडेशन भी हो, रिडक्शन भी हो, तो इस रिएक्शंस को हम लोग क्या बोलते हैं? इसे हम लोग बोलते हैं रेडॉक्स रिएक्शन. ओके, रेडॉक्स रिएक्शंस. Have you noted, students? Fine. So I hope today class is quite beneficial for you all. All you have understand the complete explanation of oxidation, reduction, as well as redox reaction. The last two topic which is given, that is corrosion and rancidity. Okay. So I hope corrosion you know very well in our means last class 8 or class 9, that what corrosion is actually. Do you have any means idea about it? What it is? Yes, what corrosion is? Mm-hmm. Okay, okay, fine. That is quite satisfactory. So simply, corrosion is what? Corrosion is the process of slowly eating of metals. Okay, corrosion is the process of slowly eating of metals with the action of air, moisture or any chemical effect. Okay, means कोई भी मेटल जो है उसके जो एक प्रोसेस होता है, एक प्रोसेस है केमिकल रिएक्शन का, चाहे वो एयर के द्वारा हो, मॉइस्चर के द्वारा हो, और इस कारण से जो एक रिएक्शन जो उसमें हो, ठीक है, जिससे का जो स्वीटिंग, दैट मींस कि जो मेटल्स है वो धीरे धीरे गेट कोरोडेड, मतलब कि धीरे धीरे वो लेयर बाय लेयर साफ होना शुरू हो जाए, साफ मतलब में समाप्त होना शुरू हो जाए, तो उसे हम लोग कहते हैं कोरोजन कहते हैं. ठीक है, जिसका एक कॉमन एग्जांपल क्या है? रस्टिंग. रस्टिंग इज द फॉर्म ऑफ कोरोजन, जिसमें आयरन जो है वो क्या होता है कि दैट इज ईटन अप बाय द एक्शन ऑफ एयर, है ना, एयर के कारण या किसी भी मॉइस्चर के कारण वो जो टॉप सरफेस है या जो ऊपर का सरफेस है, दैट इज गेट ईटन अप. Okay, so the effect of that chemical reaction can be known as a rusting of iron. तो ये भी इक्वेशन आपके है, एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, सो आप इसे मेंशन जरूर कर लेंगे। और रेंसिडिटी क्या होती है? डू यू नो रेंसिडिटी? नो। ओके, सो रेंसिड का मतलब क्या होता है, जस्ट लाइक आप देखेंगे कि कोई भी फूड सब्सटेंस जो है या कोई भी ऑयल या फैट कंटेनिंग सब्सटेंस जो है, उसे काफी लंबे समय तक अगर हम छोड़ देते हैं, है ना, when we expose to air for a long time or simply for a time, then it get oxidized. Okay, then it get oxidized or become rancid. Rancid means a bad smell comes after the reaction when the oxidation of that fat or the oil containing substance, okay, usually react with. So the taste and color changes. You know very well that during the chemical reaction the smell may happens, the color may changes, okay, and this process is called rancidity. Okay, for example, when butter is kept for the long time, its smell and taste get changed, and this is what we call rancid substance, or this process is called rancidity. Okay, students. So I hope this complete class of main important class was the redox reaction and oxidation, as well as reduction, and the rest two topic was that is rancidity and corrosion. So all this topic was covered. So your work is to complete all the inside question answer as well as exercise question answer. And if there is any doubt, you may ask to the next class. Okay. Yes. Okay, very good question. The questions come from complete chemical reaction, means all the 7, 8 chemical reactions which we studied. You have to minutely understand and cover up all the simple reactions and their explanations. Okay, the way to illustrate these means reactions in the question paper, that is very important. That must be very important from your side. Okay, so you have to cover up all these chemical reactions, their examples, at least 3 or 4 examples you have to cover up during means individual chemical reactions. Okay, the another thing is that every chemical reaction must be balanced, so you have to also do practice about the balancing of chemical reactions. Then some common questions come from your this chapter, means just like daily activity based, that suppose one compound where one metal X reacts with water, it forms metallic oxide, and some chemical behavior will be given to you. Okay, so you have to study the chemical behavior. So how you will be known to this chemical behavior? So you have to cover up all the examples, okay, all the activity which is given to you in this chapter. Okay, so every questions or every activity you have, you will be able to see that some chemical behavior is given at the last of the conclusion. Okay, that white substance is formed or green substance is formed, whatever the means conclusion is given to you. So this also you have to keep in a mind and prepare your own notes, है ना? Prepare your own notes so that it will be quite easy for you to remember all points in a simple manner. Okay, I hope students you have understand the today class. Tomorrow class will be of math, the polynomial chapter. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Good night.